Hi, this is Nora. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a few ways that you can get organized for 2021 and take you along as I get organized for the new year. I've always been a person who's gone up and down when it comes to organization. I've had periods where I've been quite organized and I've sort of gotten into that mood of wanting to plan everything out and get everything together. And then I've had periods as well, longer periods, where I am just completely a chaotic mess and I don't have anything together at all. I've always managed to keep the important things together like school and work and all of that, but sometimes it can all feel like a bit of a mess. So I'm trying to get more organized and find a way, an organizational tool that works for me. I've tried many methods of organization before, and as someone who has a weakness for pretty stationery, I have bought so many calendars that are pretty to look at, and I've used them for like a week and then they spent the rest of the time in a drawer or on the bottom of my bag. Actually, about a year or so ago, I bought a nice Filofax and I bought stickers and pens and everything for it, and I was gonna use that and get organized, and then I only used it for like maybe a week or two, and I just carried it around with me for almost an entire year. If any of this sounds familiar to you, or if you're just trying to find a way to get organized for the new year, then come along with me as I'm organizing my life and trying to get everything together for 2021. I've been watching a lot of videos by this YouTuber called Michelle. Her channel is Muchelleb, I think that's how you say it. And she makes these videos about using the app Notion for getting organized and organizing her life. And it looked really good when I saw it in her videos, so I decided to give that a shot. Now, I downloaded a template that she made a few months ago when I first saw her video about Notion, and it was a free template which was downloadable from a link that was on her video. Now, I've noticed that she since then has made an updated video with a new template, which is a paid for template. And I don't necessarily mind, paying for something which is good and which I'm gonna use, but I wanted to see first if the app was gonna be good for me and if it was something I was gonna use. So I decided to use the old template which I already had, which was the free one. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, when you first start using Notion, I don't think it's very user-friendly. Like, it's a sharp learning curve. At least I found it quite difficult to understand how it works and how to set up the pages and how the links work and how the databases work and everything. And I still don't quite understand it. Even with the templates, I was having difficulty setting some things up. So it does take a bit of time to get used to. Besides Michelle's template, I've also downloaded a few other ones. One was a meal planning template and another one was a content calendar / video project tracker for YouTube made by Thomas Frank, who is a YouTuber, and it has a content calendar in it, so I'm trying to get organized with planning out my YouTube videos, which I'll talk about later. On Michelle's Notion template, you can write out your goals and track them throughout the year, and you can also write a master to-do list of all the things you have to do, and you can, write to-do lists for every day as well and things like that. There are different things involved in it. I've added some things and removed some things as well to make it suit me better. So far, I found it really good and useful, and I have actually been using it. I did what Michelle calls a brain dump, and I wrote down everything I have to do in the master to-do list. And the things in the master to-do list don't have to be immediate. It can be things you have to do tomorrow, or it can be a year from now, or it can be someday in the future. So you can have things in there like, I need to paint the kitchen at some point this next year, or I want to travel to Italy at some point in the future. Whatever it is, it's a good thing to have it written down so it's not cluttering up your brain. All of us have these random thoughts that pop up during the day as we're trying to do other things, where our brain is trying to remind us of things that we haven't done and tasks that we have to do. It might be, you have to call the bank today, or I have to water the plants, or I have to call my mother. These thoughts can often appear again and again, and they distract us from what we're trying to do. So if you write it down, then you have it in the app and you sort of can release it from your brain and focus on whatever task it is you're trying to do right then. The other way that I'm getting organized for 2021 is by stepping up my content planning for YouTube. Since I'm planning to upload twice weekly now, I've really had to step up my game and make sure that I keep up with content creation to make sure that I have videos up twice weekly, and that means that I've been having to do a lot more planning ahead for my content. I've been using Notion for this as well. Like I said, I downloaded Thomas Frank's template for project planning, and I've been using that to plan out my YouTube videos. He has a really good template where you can write down your scripts and your research and everything like that, and you can plan out which dates you are releasing your content and what stage you are at with your content. And this has been really good. Before, I had notes everywhere. I've had notes on my computer, I've had them in the Notes app on my iPhone, some I've had scribbled down on papers, so it was all over the place and a mess. Now I just open up Notion every time, and I have really been using Notion for this, and I just jot it down there, and I have this long list of ideas for future YouTube videos, and I've been scheduling for the next month and 2 months what I'm going to be doing on YouTube and what videos I'm going to be making. And it's really helped me feel a lot more on top of my content schedule and made it feel a lot less chaotic. I've also started actually scheduling time to work on YouTube, and that doesn't just involve filming videos, but also research, planning, script, editing, all of that. I've started actually scheduling times during the week where I'm going to be doing that so that I keep on top of the content creation. And so far, that part of Notion has been working really well for me. Now, I know that everyone doesn't create videos, but if you are someone who has a lot of projects going, Notion is a good way to keep track of them because you can keep your notes on there, and it saves online across all platforms so that you can go on Notion on your phone or on your computer or anywhere that you log in, you can access your notes. Another great way of getting organized for 2021 is to work on decluttering. This has taken several shapes for me, and lately I've been working on several forms of decluttering. I've been working on digital decluttering, where I've been going through my phone to look at apps that I haven't been using, sometimes for months, some for years I think, and just getting rid of them and making sure that my phone doesn't have any unnecessary stuff on it. I recently saw a Vanessa Lau video where she set up her iPhone with the iOS 14 to look a lot nicer, a lot more sleek and inspiring. And when I had a Samsung phone, I used to love using the different themes to customize my phone and make it look the way I wanted. And it's something that I've been missing with the iPhone. So I used the advice that Vanessa gave to set up my phone and make it look nicer. It does take a lot more effort than it does on a Samsung, so I didn't, customize all of the icons or anything, but I at least made it look a bit, more organized and nice and inspiring. Another thing I've been doing is going through my email inbox, where I've had a lot of unread emails. Now, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I used to have like over 8,000 unread emails in my inbox, and a while ago I went through all of them and I deleted like most of them and made sure to get it organized and unsubscribe to a lot of things. Most of it is just newsletters that I don't even read and things that sent out by different companies. It had piled up a bit again, so I have gone through it again and unsubscribed to more newsletters and just made sure that it's all read and there's no unread emails there. The second part of my decluttering is a physical declutter, which I've started doing but is an ongoing process for me, and that involves decluttering my closet, so getting rid of clothes that I don't use and haven't used for a while. So I've been doing that, but like I said, it's an ongoing process for me, and I've been trying to do one section at a time. I've also decluttered my vanity, where often I will leave my hairstyling tools and products that I use just on top of the vanity instead of putting them away. And I realized that putting them away takes literally like 5 seconds, and it makes it look nicer and it makes me feel better. So I've just put everything away and committed myself to doing that every time that I've used something to make sure that it always looks tidy. Another important part of the physical declutter is to make sure that everything has its place and that everything goes back into its place once it's been used. And that is still a work in progress for me, and it's something that I'm going to keep working on and really try to get better at this year. Another important part of getting organized and resetting yourself for 2021 is making sure to give your home a good clean. Now, sometimes things get away from me. The dishes pile up, the laundry basket overflows, and things just get messy. I have found for me, and I think this is the case for a lot of people, that having a chaotic environment makes me feel chaotic. It increases my baseline stress levels and makes it harder to focus on the task at hand. So in order to reset for the new year, I've decided to do a big clean of the apartment, and I've been taking that in steps and sort of doing one thing at a time and making sure that everything is nice and clean and ready for the new year. And like I've already mentioned, I've been trying to implement a habit of not allowing clutter to pile up, trying to deal with it as it comes along instead of just letting it collect and just become a massive chore. Another thing you can do to get organized and get your life together is to try meal planning. And I know that it can sound like a huge task, but honestly, for me, I find it worse when we have to look in the fridge every night to see what we have and see what we can make from it, and it just ends up taking longer than it should to prepare for meals every night, and it means that maybe we have unhealthy things more often than what we should have. So we've tried to start meal planning, and we sat down and we used the Notion template that I downloaded to set up a meal plan for the next week. And we can also use that to set up the grocery list to make sure that we have everything. And we're hoping that this will also reduce our waste, because we've been throwing out unnecessary amounts of food that we didn't even know we had in the fridge. And it's just been sitting there and gone off, and then we haven't been able to use it. So we're hoping to be a lot more mindful of that this year and a lot less wasteful in the way that we consume. The final part of getting your life together for 2021 is to make sure that you set up a self-care routine. Now, if you watch YouTube the way that I do, this might seem like a very daunting task. Like suddenly you have to take up meditating, start yoga, and start drinking, smoothies and matcha tea every day. But I would say start with just one thing. For me, I've decided to set up a skincare routine. I've had very varying skincare routines in the past, and often I've had no skincare routine at all. So for this year, I've decided to treat myself and just buy some nice products and make sure that I set my vanity up nicely so that every night before I go to bed, I can go through my skincare routine and have that as a sort of final self-care routine before I finish the day. This is a part of a commitment I made to try and actually focus on self-care in 2021, even in these smaller ways, which are actually sometimes the most important ways. Whatever the self-care routine you want to set up is, whether that is yoga or meditating, or if it's skincare or reading daily or whatever it is, just make sure you try to set up at least one for 2021. Those are some of the ways that I've been getting organized for 2021. I hope you found some of them useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!